So let's get to the fun, because I think everyone should be. So we're definitely recording, Liz, yeah? Oh, got it. It's coming. It shows now. Perfect. Excellent. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I can get the PowerPoint up. That's the one. Right. So this is the agenda that we're going to go through. So I'm going to just whack this over here. And I'm going to give a bit of background. We always give you a background, and I'm going to explain the process of pricing, not just doing the pricing. Because this is really important, because if you don't put the value up front, the clients, they won't value what you're doing. So this is why I always talk about the background of the journey to now. So this is a bit of my background. Everyone will have their own background of great experience they've accumulated, whether it's in practice or industry. My one was that I worked for a number of big names like Santander, Mothercare, Connaught. I've been also running the accounting practice 6 years. Recent big humbling event for me was being on Sky TV. We do a lot of recordings for Sky, and I think you guys may have seen the content, especially on WhatsApp. I bore everyone to death on it. But the reason being is it's about value. What value are you creating? And this is going to lead nicely. There's a little picture I always show of it, of us in the Sky TV studio recording on Property TV. Getting to the bit. So this is the bit that's really important before we even think about. And I don't know, and we'll make this a bit of a Q&A at the end as well, so all the stuff we're talking about. The pre-work is as important, if not more important, than when you actually turn up for the meeting. And I've put certain stuff that I think is quite important and has helped us on our journey. This may help you guys as well, and ladies, whoever's watching now and who's going to be watching in the future, because we're a service-based business. And what principles we're putting here are relevant for all service-based businesses, not just accountancy practices. Goods is slightly different, but it is quite similar in some aspects. But services, especially what we do as being trusted advisors, from the time we connect with someone to now, is a lengthy process. Sometimes people have been following us for years. Social media, whether we like it or not, is huge. And this is why I spend so much time on social media, creating valuable content on social media and showing your background, which I just did at the start of this seminar. So important. The other bit is, which we've been spending a lot of time, is creating digital assets. I can't emphasize how important this is. Digital assets are something that you give away for free. Not just creating videos on YouTube, that's one form of digital asset, but some guides, preferably video or in words, that you give away to the client. So they can then start following and understanding your content. You can even download mine and then replicate them if you want into different ways. We've got like 4 digital pieces of content that we give free. We've had, since I've done them, it cost me a few grand to do them because you have to think about the whole chain. We've had about, and Alfie will correct me on this, but I think I've had about 140 to 150 downloads in 3 or 4 months, which is not bad going. That's the first step to building the relationship, because you need their email, right? The email is really important. Then you use the email to nurture the client. This is the pre-work before you even get to the pricing conversation, right? The experience that we've obviously had is, where we've done this and the client is actually watched our videos, bought into what we're talking about, what ends up happening is that when you have the pricing conversation, they're less sensitive because they know what value, you're not a risk. And I think this is the biggest thing with pricing people forget or miss out on is, are you going to be a risky investment or not? If they don't know you, you're a risky investment. All of this, what I've talked about in the first slide, is about reducing their risk. I love whacking these in. You've probably seen some presentations, but this gentleman absolutely smashed it with this. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So it's here. It's all about how you communicate what your value proposition is and how you come across to the client. I'm going to talk a bit about the mindset. And the reason why I'm doing this is, you've got to decide before you turn up to that conversation what your pricing strategy is. If you're deciding in the meeting, it's going to be a bit of a car crash, yeah, because they're going to think, what is this guy selling us or what this lady's selling us. You've got to already know before you turn up to the meeting, what is your pricing strategy, right? Really, there's just two in my world. People say there's hybrids. Yes, there's different. I'm doing the spectrums here. One is, are you going to go by cost? Is cost going to be your driver for this? If that's the case, then you're going to have to do high volume and find out how you can really reduce your cost of delivering the service. But the problem with that is you're never cheap enough. And I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but if you compete on cost, you're going to lose on cost generally. It's very hard to be the cheapest. The other one which I prefer, and I do in my own practice, is a higher price, and therefore you have lower amount of clients. But this requires differentiation through expertise, right? What expertise are you bringing to the table that someone can't go from a general practitioner? What are you going to do differently for their journey that they are not going to get somewhere else? I'm going to talk a bit about pricing techniques, what we use to charge for clients. I think this is really quite important, because what people generally mess up is they don't really understand what techniques that they've got. So we split consultations into two types of consultations, right? One of them is where my expertise and niche is, and what I talk and bore the world to death with, or try to add value one way, whichever way you want to see it, is property investment, property development. So that's my niche and my expertise, where I charge for a consultation. Because if I don't charge for the consultation, I lose a lot of time of giving free my time up to someone, and then they're not had no investment, no time investment and buy-in. So my content does the talking before they even turn up. That's why they spend the £400 to do that. The £400, it could be £1,000 plus, believe it or not, because it depends on the value. But the reason why we have this notional amount is because what we don't want is people to waste our time on our expertise. And that can easily happen. Then you become a busy fool, which I'm sure you guys don't want to be doing, because if you become a busy fool, what's going to happen? You're going to lose the will to live. So how we go about when this bit, we do a fact find first for the meeting. We do then at least 1 hour Zoom. As you can see, I like talking. Sometimes it takes a bit longer on the Zoom. And then we do a separate quote meeting, which we include based on the solution that we've done here. Obviously, we don't charge for the quote meeting, but that's the second meeting, not the first meeting. The first meeting here is understand what is the best in practice for them, or best in class for them to be able to do what they want to do. Because property, as you know, is a very specialist area. It's got total different tax rules. Trading businesses, which I think a lot of you guys and ladies will be looking at, is slightly different how we do it. So I don't actually charge, but I get my team to do the sense check initially to make sure, is it worth us having that conversation and investing the hour or whatever it is to talk to the client. And the reason why we've done this is because you end up getting the wrong people and they take up a lot of time, because remember, your time is so valuable. Yeah, you've got your business commitments, your family commitments, so many commitments. So you've got to do it. This is how I structure it. And what we do is, generally for compliance work, we do a 3-tier approach, which I'm going to go through, if I can find my Excel model somewhere, how we do those. We incorporate business advisory as standard, and I know everyone gets worried when I say business advisory, because I used to. What I mean by business advisory can be a whole range. It's how are you helping the business over and above doing their accounts, doing their compliance like payroll, VAT, bookkeeping. These are compliance services. How are you advising them? Are you sitting down with them monthly, quarterly, 6 month or annually? I would recommend that you split it between how much turnover you have. So if you've got 0 to £100,000 clients, they have different packages. And I'll go through some of the ways I do it. There's no exact science in this. It's down to what you feel comfortable and where your client base is. And then you work out, which we're going to go through, how you price for all the stuff, not the stuff that you just think they're getting. So they've got options. People want options. So important. All right, and they will have different price sensitive depending on their budget and what value you have created in the journey to it. We also do value pricing on tax work. What I mean by this is, if you are going to save on tax and you can tangibly illustrate this, you want to be linking to your work to the percentage of the saving, not how many hours that you're spending. Because if you've got 20 years worth of experience and you spend an hour, which someone else might take a week or still not get it right, you can't charge the same, can you? It doesn't make sense. And also, it gets rid of the client's risk. And I keep on talking about this and probably need to put it on there, is the client wants someone to take care of them, that they have no risk, that they feel that they're going to waste money or lose money or get ripped off. So this is not about charging them to the nth degree, it's charging them for the value that you're creating and being really clear on the value and the journey for the client. So I'm going to go into some tools if I can. I'm going to probably have to do it after this because it's on an Excel, which I do. But there's a few different ways of doing this. And I don't know if anyone else has used some of these tools, and it'd be good to get an idea at the end what tools people have used. I use a 3-tier pricing for most of our work. And we have names for those. You have the essential, which is the basic. The middle level is what we call evolve, and then more advanced is accelerate, depending on what they are. And we offer these options. And then you have got third-party tools. I don't know if anyone's used them, such as for pricing, like Practice Ignition, Go Proposal, AVN. Apologies to Shane, I forgot the name of the tool that he uses, but he's got a tool as well. And these tools are just automating what you put in there, so you're consistent on your pricing. Also, when you've got a pricing tool, whichever way it is, and you talk through the client through the options, they know you're not making the price up. And that is so important when you're doing a service, because it's on trust. And when you're a trusted advisor, anything that affects the trust leads to a lack of conversion. So when you've got something pre-set up and you're just ticking boxes or putting numbers in the boxes that they're going to then churn out a quote, is going to be a lot more consumer friendly, because they've got a chance of reducing what they want as well. So having that flexible is going to be really, really important. I can't emphasize that enough. And I'll come back and I'll show you an Excel tool which I use myself, which I created. But let's go through some of this. So how to structure the conversation with the client in the meeting. And everyone will have different ways of doing this. My way is very important. I actually think that pricing, the conversation in the meetings generally, even though it feels uncomfortable initially, is actually the easiest part. And you're probably like, is it going mad here? It is, because I've done all the pre-work. Me and my team, I've already done the pre-work. You've seen the sign behind. We do podcasts. We give huge amount of value for free up front. So if someone's already been following us on YouTube, all the social medias, we're on LinkedIn, YouTube, both LinkedIn, both types of YouTube shorts. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, not so good Twitter these days. So apologies to Elon Musk, but he needs to improve it. We're on Instagram, Facebook. And by the way, Instagram and Facebook have made a comeback. It's called Instabook or Facebook Reels. Use it. We're also on Threads as well. And TikTok, believe it or not. The reason being is it is no longer 7 touch points or 8 touch points. People believe it's about 18 or 20 touch points of them seeing you in different places. So that's what I'm talking about, doing the work, as I mentioned previously. I've also illustrated how we deal with property businesses, and I've illustrated how we do that. For me, for property businesses, 3 things I focus on in the conversation, right? And all my content is mirroring this. Is when you're talking about property, it's about structuring the acquisition, structuring the business, then helping them scale their property portfolios or how they're doing the property development, and then exit legacy planning. And that's different between property investment and property development. For trading businesses, I've developed a 6-step framework from my knowledge of what entrepreneurs need is different than just providing accountancy compliance services. right? Everyone can develop their own unique way of doing this, but we have to add value to the business. And if you don't add value to the business, unfortunately, especially with the recession, you're going to get even more pressure. And I'm feeling this, everyone will feel this, with clients pushing back. This will happen. Try to do financial performance reviews. I don't know how good people are on Excel and all the rest of it. We use Zero and Dex as our software. But what I mean by this is, when people talk about management accounts, this means different things for different people, right? When you talk to a client and say management accounts, for example, they ain't got the foggiest what you mean. You've got to explain what that's going to tell them. It's going to tell them their performance up for the monthly performance, what their performances are in the current up to the financial year to date, and also you're going to do a forecast. This forecast can be explained in a number of different ways. One, it's going to help them with financial performance, how well they're doing, their margin, and you can set it up in Zero to put it into your software and then spread the monthly. And we can probably do a separate one if Liz wants us to do one around how I do the packs and things like this. They're really important. And then you can forecast. But the other two major forms, really important things, is cash management. Right? Talk about their cash flow position and what's happening in their cash. And if you've got Zero, they've got a really good cash flow report that you can also put in the pack, and then you can do a forecast looking at the trends. Right? And the third thing, which everyone I think should be doing, but I don't know if many do, is predicting or forecasting their corporation tax and their personal tax position. Yeah? Jeff, I think you might want to put us on mute. Can someone drop a message to Jeff, because I think he's accidentally taken us on mute.
Yeah, I'll leave.
Okay. And then another big area, everyone, really important is, and it's becoming more important, is business exit planning, right? Whether you're for trading businesses as well. When you do all of this stuff, what is one of the key things? You're getting their business ready, that it doesn't just rely on them. And it depends on where they are in the cycle and what their aspirations are. So you do need to understand, what do they want to achieve? Do they just want a lifestyle business? Do they want to, 0 to 100k turnover? What kind of turnover are they looking at? And this is really important, and what type of profitability they want. Because some people may think, I only want a 0 to 100 or 200-300k turnover, which gives me £50,000-100,000 profit. That's it, I'm happy. Some people want to go quite far, and you have to identify that and then give them the services that's going to help them in the journey. And that's where this 6-step framework, or whatever your equivalent is going to be really useful. Okay, because it's going to be hearing on the recording. But I think this is so important, everyone, so I'll speak a bit louder, so over talking Jeff, because I don't think he knows that he's off mute. Right. This is one of my favourite sayings. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Rita Mae Brown. This is what we are doing when we expect different things. Liz, you may want to call Jeff, because his is quite loud. Thank you. So if you don't change what you do, and do it slowly, don't try to do everything at once. Some of this stuff is taken some time to develop. It doesn't happen overnight. And you've got to take your time to develop it. I always put this in, know your stakeholders' why. This is my why, right? There's my mum, my wife, my 2 sons. And anyone's following us on LinkedIn, you've probably seen all of these. Do you know something? I don't know if I can actually.
Keep muted. I've not got through to his number there.
If I stop sharing for a moment, and right, yes, there it is. I think it's worked.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sorry about that, everyone. I think I hope it's been useful why I'm going through this, and I've sort of got a little conclusion. as well. And I'm going to do the Excel model as well in 2 seconds if I go back here, if it lets me. I think the conclusion for me is create a step-by-step plan of the client journey is key. So when whatever clients you want to work with, work out how step by step how you're going to help them and how you're going to get them into your sales funnel, right? Because if you can do that, you're going to have an easy journey step by step to convert them to clients. Because if you're clear, then they're going to be clear on what you're offering. And also you're going to get rid of the people that are not right fit for you, because we as accountant, tax advisors, business advisors, trusted advisors, whatever you want to call us these days, we get caught up in trying to help people that are not always the right fit. And that can be quite exhausting from an energy perspective and a time perspective. Knowing your value, I think it's more than just doing your accounts, because that's quite competitive, is around what tax you can save them, how you can help grow their business, how you can help them get more free time, all of these, and how do you help them do this. And I'll just mention the 6 steps, 6 areas that I look at, right, may help. Number 1, we're talking about pricing with profitability in mind, looking at the leads generated, how you convert those, doing all the analytics behind that, working with the client, helping them with their pricing, making sure they've got margin. That's number 1. Number 2 is positioning, which I've also talked about. That's personal brand as well as business brand. You can see behind me, hence the sign, right? Very important, right? You've got to have your unique thing that you do different to everybody else, right? And how you communicate. Do they like you? Do they trust you? Will they want to work with you? Do they enjoy your content? Being able to demonstrate the value what a client needs to run their business. This is done by giving content, right? And that can be so many different ways. It could be a blog, whatever you feel comfortable. There's 3 types of content, and I'm going on about this because this is so important to this pricing conversation that we're going on. Number 1 is the content you give written form, where you're writing stuff. Number 2 is audio. People do podcasts, we do a podcast. Number 3 is video. I do a combination of all 3 now. Because the algorithms on social media and all these love when people do multiple sources. I don't expect, look, I've invested a lot of my profit into marketing and getting people in, and everyone will have different ideas where they want their business. But if you want to get the prices that you deserve, and you want to get the clients that you feel you're right are for you, you have to make sure you get the pre-work done. It's going to make a big difference. I'm going to quickly, if I can find my content spreadsheets, I'm just going to show you some pricing. I don't want to spend too much time on this. The reason being is everyone will have a different model to also, by the way, always have your call to action after your presentations. I do a lot in person as well as over Zoom and things like this, because people got to know what do they do next. So when you do a presentation like this, really important to have that. So I'm going to go onto a quote template. This is a property one I've actually done. I use Excel quite a lot. I used to do a lot of financial modeling when I worked for major of these big corporates. So I know how to use Excel. People may use different solutions. I'm just trying to give you an example of what these different ones are. I have pricing on the side that is right for me, but what I do is I put the highest option first, the middle is the evolve, and essential is the basic. And what we do is we go through, this is for a property business, slightly different to a trading business. Maybe I should open a trading business if everyone, let me see if I got a few templates here that I've made. And if I go this one here, let's do this one. Right, so what I do here is we have different templates for different turnover clients. So we have 0 to 100k, which I'm going to use. And what we do is we go through what do they get. So we start with the compliance. So you've got essential, evolve, accelerate, and we do monthly amounts. You have the quote for the client here, your if you're a chartered accountant or whichever body you're with, always have that on there as well. And then you go through and we can put numbers depending on what they need. I go through everything. The things I found, by the way, and I hope this is really useful and we have some time for Q&A, is that we never priced phone and email support in. So important, because you're not doing a year end, they're not just turning up for a year end. And if you price this in, it's going to make a big difference. Yeah? And I think that's really important. Then I put tax investigation insurance. This is for limited companies, by the way. I put some of them on ECIs if they're depending on what they're doing, if they're developers or not. VAT returns. This is the compliance part. Then I split up into bookkeeping. Okay? So you don't get bookkeeping in Essential, you just get a review. Because everyone has to do a review of their books, right? That's quite costly, and sometimes, a lot of times, lost leaders, so I put some money into that. Then I do up to in transactions amount. So I have a transaction cost up to 100 entries, and then after that, I drop the price a little bit. The reason being is it becomes easier to do. And we have different types, by the way, there's data validation here as well, and I've got lists because people want different types of bookkeeping, yeah? I also put the personal tax return here, and obviously people know what the tax implications are of this. We don't actually charge formally for this. We have this part of our packages depending on what they do. Then I have the software, which we have to charge the clients. Please make sure you charge the clients for software. Dext, 0. And then we've got the value added services. They're different for the property ones, but for the trading businesses, I have a minimum and accelerate package, and our prices are not cheap, and I don't really hide anything about it because I know the value. I'm comfortable about the value I'm creating. If they want one meeting at the end of the year before the numbers are finished, I would always recommend if someone signs up with you having a meeting if they want post year end, but one before year end is where we do a lot of work around forecasting and planning. Working out their tax position, corporation tax, how much money they're going to extract for personal tax, how well is their business doing, is the margin there, is it actually a sustainable business? So you're doing a bit of a business health check, right? And by doing this, the client, you would hope, will appreciate what you do, because this is the real value, right? Otherwise you're just like everybody else, and that's how you can stamp and opportunity to show, do they need more value? Do they want it more regularly? And you've got to be quite militant on this to put this in. Sometimes people say we want to do their own books and we just want the forecast meeting. Fine, but we've got to put the pressure on them to make sure they've done their books right and we've had a chance to review them. Because it's like building a house and your foundations ain't right. Bookkeeping is the foundations of any business, right? If the numbers ain't right, you can't forecast anything and it just becomes a load of rubbish, right? So important to make sure you do that. I do different packages for 100 to 300k businesses because they're in a different level. So the essential package tends to have one meeting, and then we put more meetings in where we're doing forecasting, planning around their business review. This is how you can charge more. Everyone will have their different pricing ways of doing it. You're not going to, by the way, guys, one of the things, and ladies, do not expect to convert 7, 8 out of 10 clients. If you are converting, I reckon more than 60%, you're not pricing correctly. Unless you are got an unbelievable pre-work process, which I've talked about, which is so good that everyone is just ready for you to take you on. Could happen. Generally, you're probably looking about 1 or 2 out of 10. Yeah, but the key is the ones that you have that come through, that you vetted and that you know they are interested and they're not looking just for a cheap accountant, depending on your strategy. So going back to what I said in the PowerPoint, and I'll stop sharing on this, but this is how I lay out. Everyone's got different. You can get pricing software as well that can actually do it in detail. Going back up to here, this bit, the pre-work. And I keep on talking about this. I didn't want to spend just time going on a spreadsheet and talk about pricing. That could have saved me a lot of time because I've got a lot of filming to do today. But I wanted to give value on how I'm thinking about this, and everyone will have different ways. This isn't one size fits all. Everyone, you need to tailor it to what your strengths are, what you're happy with, right? And be able to really, really communicate value. And I can't emphasize this enough. The only difference between you and Joe or Jane Doe down the road is your value and you and your team. What value are you communicating? How are you communicating this? Okay, and I don't know if I can emphasize it enough. I think I did another one about social media, and I think Liz recorded that, and hopefully we'll put that on our YouTube channel for everybody as well, i.e. the Certax head office YouTube channel. And it's more around, you guys watch this back again if you need to, but develop a step-by-step process. Yeah, just think about someone doesn't even know anything about you, from there to them sitting in your office and you're having a conversation. How would you feel if you come to somebody, you don't know hardly anyone, someone's told you they're a good accountant, or you've seen them doing Google search, you turned up, you're not watched nothing, you don't know nothing. Are you likely to pay a good price for their services? For me, the answer is highly unlikely. Because when you don't know nothing about something, or you don't know enough about their value, you will go on price. So this is why I spend, we've got, and this is not me trying to be boastful over, we spent a lot of time, hard work. We've got over 300 plus videos on YouTube. I post every day on LinkedIn. I'm not expecting everyone else to do it, but that's the mad level I try to get to. I produce 8 to 10 pieces of content a day. We're actually going to get to 20. I don't expect other people, but that's how I see the marketplace. I see the marketplace about value, and more value. And then if we're fortunate, and it should be more straightforward, that the client comes to speak to us, they know what we're going to deliver. So it's going to be a question whether they're the right fit, not, oh, you're too expensive, because everyone's too expensive. Yeah, that's what the Lamborghini guy said to me when I just borrowed this Lamborghini. Everyone says it's expensive, but you still get clients, right? Yeah, because he knows how to communicate his value. Right, I think now that's enough of me talking. Let's do a Q&A. Go on, John, you're ready, I can see it. John Davies, do you want to ask some questions?
I'll start off. First of all, talking about videos, and I'm absolutely rubbish at making a video, being in a video. So could I use a little AI, Johnny, to be my character in the video?
Do you know what? Interesting. You've got to see if it works for yourself, right? Maybe you don't have to do videos. Why don't you do like audio?
Maybe.
Or even like written. Do written words. No, I said there's 3 ways. Because listen, not everyone's going to be like really good on video, and it doesn't matter. You've got to play to your strengths and what you're happy with. And more I learned from really experts who've done this for many years, they've said, got to be comfortable in what you do. Yeah, so think about that, and then talk about stuff that you know really well. Because John, is there any niche that you do a lot, or you're really into, and you've got a lot of clients?
Previously, I was a partner in a law firm.
Right. Okay.
My qualification, and I worked as a commercial partner. So I would be looking at new ventures. I would be looking at buying companies, mergers and acquisitions, stuff like that, cash flow management. So all those kind of key areas. On the advisory side, I'm familiar with. I don't know how good I am, but I've done it for a while.
I'm sure you're good.
Thank you. And that's kind of where I'd like to position myself.
I think that's a really good strategy. And what you need to do is really map it out. You obviously have connections or people being able to refer you that kind of work, build those referral networks, then communicate the value, because you've got to remember that out of 100 people, there may be only 3 or 4% looking for what you do at any time. And then there's another, say, 15-16% that are thinking about it. And then the rest of them, I think it's about 30% they say may buy in the future, and there's about 40-50% will never buy from you. Yeah. So you just got to put your content out and really be clear. Less is more, by the way.
Yes, I understand that. My problem is I've worked with big companies and I want to come down and work with smaller companies. So I've got to find my niche and company size. So I think anywhere between 0 and maybe 3 million, possibly 5 million would be the place I'd be most comfortable at.
And also helping the clients get to the journey for acquisitions. Yeah. So you could do high level financial work to prepare them by helping them grow and scale their business. So you've got then recurring income, that'll give you annual income, and then going forward after that, you can then help them prepare for exit, because they're not going to be ready, someone either exiting or acquiring, they're going to need cash or leverage, right? But they're going to have to show some.
I've done plenty of funding work, so I know where to get the money. Well,
excellent.
Client can get it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just how you help them in that journey usually.
I've got one thing, if I may.
Yeah, please.
Have a copy of your Excel quote spreadsheet.
I'll be honest with you, we don't share it. The reason being is I can give you that because we've got loads of Excel formulas behind it, and you have to develop your own pricing because we've priced for all different stuff based on our stuff. And when I've shared it, I've ended up having to do a lot of work with them because everyone, and obviously we don't get paid to do all that. So what I've tried to do is give people the insight on how to think, and then you put your pricing what you're comfortable with. Putting your rates, yeah. Be realistic. Where are you based in the country, John?
I'm in Southampton in Hampshire.
Okay, so it's going to be quite good. I think I know quite a bit of a famous accountant down there called Reza. You might have heard of him.
Oh yes.
Reza Huda, yeah. So I went to a meeting one time with Reza with tax calc and all the rest of it because we're part. Very impressive. He's done really well. He's got £1 million+ practice. Watch some of his content. Very good guy to know, and just learn from all the different people. LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn, John?
I am, yes.
Are you connected to us on LinkedIn?
I'm connected to some of you. I think I'm following you.
Okay, excellent. Hopefully we release content and then leverage people like myself to get other connections.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, I was a bad introducer there. John joined us last week, so.
Oh, excellent.
And as did Javid and Usman that are in here as well. They're Manchester South.
They're going to have to show their faces. Come on, everyone. Take the thing off. Let's see you guys so you can say hello. Big Certax welcome. Take yourself a mute, Javid, if you want. If I can.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, excellent. Yeah, Javid, you're based where? Manchester. Have you found the little pricing seminar that we've done useful to give you some understanding on round stuff? You can watch it again. Liz will give the recording.
Yeah, we will see it released. As I have my son Usman with me, so he's chartered accountant and a chartered tax advisor. So
excellent.
He will be looking after really these kind of things. So I hope really that he will be benefited from him. But I will.
Is he on the meeting? I can't see him. Is he?
He joined it, but he has to really drop off and midway. But we will take a recording and we'll go through it.
Excellent. And no, listen, really good luck on the journey. Utilize all the resources that people are creating and build relationships. You know, you've got John, who's also a new starter yourself, exciting times. And really try to keep the passion, enthusiasm, because you do wear a number of hats of being an entrepreneur, which are different than doing a job, being an accountant, tax advisor, business advisor, right? You have to wear a few hats. So hopefully, we say inshallah, God willing, you get where you need to get to. Is no problem. Is there any questions that you've got from this session?
Not for now. Obviously, going forward, we will have your details. Of course, we will be reaching to you.
No problem. Connect with us on LinkedIn as well, so you can see a lot of content. I put content. It says Z Razak, so I think there's only one of me running around. So you'll be right top of the list when you put the name in. Azza, did you say Azza? Sorry, John. Did I answer all your questions?
I think so. I mean, I've got lots more, but.
Yeah, we can do it. We've got a few minutes, so more than happy. I have to look them up now. Yeah, no, okay, look them up. Azza, can I see you as well? Can we all see you and say hello? Oh, Assalamu alaikum, Azza, how are you doing?
Hello, good sir, and you?
Good. So you started new as well?
No, I'm with Certax for the last couple of years now.
Couple of years. So okay. How did you found the session? Have you got any questions or things that you?
Very interesting. I think a couple of sessions back, I have requested to Liz for your very famous this Excel model.
Okay.
As usual, my request has been denied.
Oh no. Okay. Are you following us on LinkedIn?
Yes, I am.
Do you use LinkedIn yourself?
Yes, I am using LinkedIn for very long now.
Tag the Certax. I'm doing this hashtag Certax. So, and then share it on the WhatsApp group if you're posting and you're doing stuff that's going to help your business. So hopefully the rest of the Certax family can help, like and comment. If I see it come up, I will. I promise. Right, and we've had like about 1.3 million views in the last year on LinkedIn, and growing. When I do the Lamborghini post outside, it's going to go viral, believe me. And it's all about content, because so really important, and showing your value. Is there any niche that you're involved in or you do?
No, for timing, I am involving each and everything what is coming up, but yeah, I'm thinking on those lines as well.
Okay, I would, if I was you, which area that you enjoy, try to go, it's all right to be broad, but try to go deep on one thing so you can charge a higher price.
Mostly I really like, the tax things.
Yeah, but you got to be, because every business is different, right? Or industry is different.
Yeah, for up till now, I really like working with these car garages.
Wow, they got special VAT rules in there on MOTs and okay. So remember, they can also buy commercial property, can't they?
Yes, they can.
So if they buy commercial property, you can clear the zero tax down to zero, right? If you know how to.
Okay.
Yeah. So you use that, structure it. You can do an opco. Watch my presentation that I did in Mayfair on YouTube. It's SAS London. I'm talking about opco propco, and you can earn £1 million tax free. Watch that.
Yeah. Which one?
SAS London. It talks about opco propco. It's on YouTube, yeah, and I'll put it little highlights on LinkedIn. Watch that, because that will help you structure. So you're using LLPs as well as limited companies and potentially SAS pensions. If you understand all these, working with a car garage, you will help them, giving them financial performance, and then you can do the tax, which is the cherry on top.
Okay.
Okay, and that will give you huge advantages. We've also got the Certax Property Tax Specialist panel. If you need any specialist advice, we can help you with that as well. That's for whole of Certax. Yeah, so look at the guides. I've got some guides for some of this stuff as well. So download them, have a look. I've spent thousands creating them, they're free. Use them. You go on our email list, and obviously, if you're part of Certax family, I hope that you shall go on. Alfie shared it in the comments.
Oh, nice one, Alfie.
Yeah, and that's my marketing guy, Alfie. So if you do, please do comment on the YouTube. It helps the algorithm, and like it. But yeah, watch it. It's free. It's about an hour. I'll do a Q&A, and it gives you ways how to save money, how to reclaim tax back for clients as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem, Azza. So Shagan, I know he's there. He's there. I saw him earlier. And I don't know what happened to Francis. He fell off as well. I think Francis was on there earlier as well. And Jeff, they fell off. Shagan, are you there?
It's loose again, and I bet he's not.
Yeah, I think he's
Andy, I've got a quick question. If you're
just watching.
Oh, sorry. Let me. Sorry, Hamza. Let Shagan, and then I'll go to you, Hamza. Sorry. Go on, Shagan. How you found it? Was it useful?
It's all right. It's okay. It's a new perspective, and we're all here to learn. And it's a different way to look at it. I mean, I'm a traditional old school accountant, as you know. But yeah, it's good to know those, and those are additional information we can also include in our business. But you're doing a great job. Well done.
Thank you, Shagan. And by the way, Shagan's been longer than me. How long have you been with the Certax? Quite a while. When you
we're going 12 years now.
Wow. So Shagan's been doing 12 years, one of the senior. So by the way, the newbies on here, learn from people like Shagan, Jeff, that was on here before, Francis, I think he was on, he's disappeared. I don't know what's happened there. Funnel Zoom.
I think I had a call with John, the first
Yes, you
person who
did.
questioned you. Yeah, I did. I had a long conversation with him before he joined. So, yeah.
John and Azza and Javed, even Hamza as well, really keep in touch with the other. This is one of the beauties of being part of the franchise, which we are trying to bring out with these kind of sessions, is giving everyone where they're Shagan will have to do one going forward. The reason being is he's got huge knowledge and different perspectives, and they are so important to learn from different people. You'll know this, John, when you, whichever, previous work, that you probably were nurturing people who are starting a bit earlier, and you can pass a lot of experience and knowledge. And I'm sure you're going to bring a huge value on M&As because you've got a lot of.
I'd just like to say that Shagan, he was very, very helpful to me. We had a great conversation. We talked for a long time. So he's very influential in me making this journey and being here today. So I'd like to say thank you very much in front of everybody. And I'm looking forward to you.
You're welcome to the family, John. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Amazing. And no, but this is one of the things that when we spoke to Ishtiaq and everyone, I was like, look, we need to do this. And it's probably on people like myself, Shagan, and some of the people being here for a bit longer, who to give you guys and try to share value and best practices to give different perspectives. Because as I said, there's not one size fits all, there's not one way. It's knowing what's right for you and what you're confident about. But if you don't invest time learning, you'll not have the options to make decisions on.
True.
Yeah. Hamza, sorry, you were about to ask a question. Put your screen on. Put your screen on so we can see you.
I'm working from home today, so.
No, that's all right. Don't worry.
I hope you're well, Z. Hi, guys. Z, quick question on the pre-work that you mentioned earlier regarding the lead magnets. And I've seen your website. So your website is different to what it was before.
Done a new one.
Page. So what's the process that you went through, and what's the step-by-step guide that you would guide other franchisees to sort of developing the lead magnet, capturing the email, having the email nurturing, etc., to be able to capitalize on this process?
So we talked about previously on one of the episodes which we did of the seminars, which Liz has said can share and on through the YouTube pages, developing a marketing sales funnel. Because you've got your marketing and then you've got sales. They're similar, but they're very different as well, right? So the content and awareness is right at the top of the funnel. Yeah, it's developing mindset, for people to know who you are. So when you develop lead magnets, you've got to think, how am I going to get someone into my funnel? Because when they're watching LinkedIn and YouTube, I don't know who they are. But when they download a guide, I now know who they are, because hopefully they'll give me my email address and a phone number, right? Then it comes down to how good are you converting it from there. And creating the lead magnet is breaking down your value and make sure it's not boring. I was quite fortunate because I could wax some of the Sky stuff, some of the in-person presentations, which you can do. See, this presentation we're going to do, by the way, I'm going to include in our pricing module. Yeah, because every service-based business should be going for the same mindset. Goods is slightly different because they're done differently, and the curve from the time they start with you, Hamza, right, to becoming a client for a service and accountancy business isn't quite quick, it's quite long. What I'm finding, right? Because some people, like I had a client who's been following us 1.5 years, and he then contacted us and he asked for a reference from someone I knew who I presented, said, is he good? And he's like, go and have a look. Yeah, but that some people, it can happen quite. The people that, in my experience, that just Google you and do it, they're not going to be great clients generally. Because what's going to happen is they're just going to look at price because they don't understand what you're offering. So what we do, make it in practice before the meeting. I tell everyone, here's those are free guides, free information, have a look at it. And if they haven't looked at it, you've got to question, are they really serious clients? Because they won't value it. And we're going to now probably make it compulsory that if they watch the video, it's like an interview, believe it or not. Because are you going to waste an hour or 1.5 hours giving someone advice or time with your time that is not going to become a client when you show them a price, because they are just looking at a price. The price is not the determining factor. The determining factor, in my view, is the value that you're creating, and does the client or potential client understand the value? So testimonials, social proofing, the lead magnets, your content, because what people do now, right, they Google you. Has everyone Googled themselves? Put their name in Google. I have. LinkedIn comes right at number one. I didn't realize that, but if you optimize LinkedIn straight away, that's number one. Then they go on all the social medias, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even now these days, right? LinkedIn. They go on all these different things to see who you are. Then they may go to your website. The website for me, even though we created, I'm going back to, hopefully I've answered probably a bit of an in-depth question. The website is probably one of the last point of calls in some cases, not the first. Yeah, the website, the key thing of the website is to make sure you can confirm who you are. Yeah, and give them the value that's going to make them take the action to call your team or you to say, do you know what, I want a meeting? Right, we've got a few steps after that as well, but depending where you are in the journey. Yeah, and I emphasize this, the pricing reflects your knowledge and experience. Your pricing will not be the same as mine. Yeah, think about it this way, a Lamborghini or a straight up Datsun Sunny, they both drive. Datsun do quite well, so do the people buying the Lambo, but not the same people going to buy the Lambo, they're going to buy the Datsun, are they? And every car in between. Yeah, so that's how you've got to start thinking, is where are you in that journey at this moment in time? If I tried to price based on this price 3 years ago, I would not have got them 4 years ago, because I didn't have the history or the social proofing to prove those prices.
Right. And your lead magnets, I assume they would be more geared towards property and your niche.
I've got 4.
Right.
So I've got one for growing businesses, because doing this thing behind me called Unlocking Financial Freedom, what we do is we go through the client journey. So for me, a client is someone's got a trading business, they want to generate cash, profitability to live, income, and then they use that money to invest in property, i.e. a property investment business, and then they have something called a SaaS pension that we provide end-to-end on, and then we wrap those 3. So there are 3 types of income, 4 sources of income, a diversification, but the first one tends to be, normally they've done it in wrong order, but we help them with that. And then we help structure these businesses to be really efficient for tax and make sure they're making money. Because if they're not making money, it doesn't matter how good you are at tax. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They've got to make money first, right? So they've got to scale the business. So that's my 4 guides that I do. And we've then summarized some of these strategies. So I know a lot of accountant tax advisors downloaded mine. Doesn't matter, it's one of those. Someone's got to, it's whoever they trusted. It's good. I hope it was useful. Did it add value? Did it change your mindset?
No, I've not downloaded it yet. I will be downloading it. I'll take a look at just trying to replicate something similar to gear towards different clients. At the moment, for me, it's a testing phase as to how I can sort of drive traffic towards the landing pages, to getting the emails, to creating an email sequence, etc. So it's just a learning phase at the moment, and just going to test the waters to see how it goes.
And the pricing is your number 1 tool, by the way. Oh, Alfie sent the guides. Thank you, Alfie. Link to the guides on our link tree that we created, where it's got all our social media, everything. I recommend everyone to have a link tree. If everyone hasn't got it, get a link tree sorted. That will summarize all your stuff. And then you've got one link that you can send to everybody, and then they can go on to all the different things. I put that on my nearly all my social media now. And it just makes life a lot easier. What number 1 thing to clock in business is pricing. Yeah, because when you've got the client in front of you, if you don't price, you only have one chance really at it. Yeah, pricing and being able to add the value pre the work, so important. I think we've covered a lot. Is there any more questions? Anyone? I think everyone's happy. John, did you enjoy your first one?
Yes, I did. I was interested to know about your website because I've seen you've got a standalone St. Albans website. So I was interested to see that. I'm interested in knowing more about your emailing, not for today, but perhaps another day we might chat about that because I see that as part of my marketing strategy. I've enjoyed today very much. Thank you.
No problem. And if there's any other questions for Liz, you can do that and then we'll go from there. Listen, thank you for all joining. Liz, you can stop the recording. Shall I stop it now?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. Perfect. Hope that was great. Now I've got some more fun to do. Have a lovely day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the session and we'll share this. That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Bye.